अगर हम सेट असाइड कर लेते थे वो नहीं देते, तो मैं इसलिए आपसे पूछ रहा, तो शायद आप समझे नहीं, वो एलिगेशन नहीं था कि उस एपिसोड का लास्ट वो क्या हुआ है एक्सप्लेनेशन का। आपने तो पर्सनल कैपेसिटी में लाहौर में चैलेंज किया था वो वायरस, यकीनन वो खुद वो इलेक्शन कमीशन नहीं कर सकता था कि उस एपिसोड का लास्ट इवेंट क्या हुआ, आया वो अल्ट्रा वायरस डिक्लेयर हुआ, आया उसका रिव्यू या अभी तक पिटीशन है, क्योंकि अगर वो स्टेट्यूट का पार्ट एंड पार्सल रहेगा तो फिर क्या पोजीशन होगी। क्वेश्चन ये था।
The judgment of this court, the 8-member judgment and the 2-member judgment, have declared the explanation to Rule 94 to be ultra-virus. So it has been declared ultra-virus. So in order to come to the judgment and the conclusion that the 8 judges and the 2 judges have arrived at, they have declared the explanation to Rule 94 to be ultra-virus, to be void ab initio.
अच्छा, इसलिए आपने वो परसू नहीं किया कि पास्ट एंड क्लोज ट्रांजैक्शन होगी, यही कहना?
नहीं सर, हमने तो परसू किया, हमने परसू किया काइंडली सी सर, मैं इसीलिए बताना चाह रहा था। CMA 5839 है आपके सामने ऑफ 2024, काइंडली 5839 ऑफ 2024। इसमें जनाब देखेंगे, दिस इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, आई एम ग्रेटफुल फॉर दिस क्वेश्चन। एट पेज 7, अगर जनाब को मिल गई हो पेपर बुक 5839 of 2024, जी, at page 7 is the title page of my petition that was filed in the Lahore High Court, और उसमें फिर the judgment ensues from page 8 onwards. Kindly see at page 9, towards the foot of the page, Mr. Abuzar Salman has added that explanation to Rule 94 of the rules is ultra-virus to the Election Act and the Constitution of the Islamic Republic of Pakistan 1973. So this was a ground argued in court. मैं petition दिखाऊंगा, उसमें भी ये ground है और prayer है. And then kindly see, when the court sends this matter away to the Election Commission, the court notes our position. Kindly see at page 18. At this stage, Mr. Abuzar Salman has submitted that remedy before the commission is illusory, because the court had said हम इसको commission को भेज रहे हैं, हमने कहा commission cannot strike down this rule, ये तो आपको ही करना है, is illusory. We are afraid that agreeing with such submission will render the provisions of the Elections Act as redundant, thus repelled. अब अगर आप CMA 5917 देखिएगा, उसमें is the copy of my petition, वहां पे prayer मेरा पेज 18 पे देखिएगा, और पेज 7, 9
CMA नंबर क्या? 5
जी, वो CMA है 5917 of 2024, जी, पेज 37 is part 1. Kindly see. This is the petition that was filed in the High Court, और इसमें जनाब देखेंगे at page 43 of the paper book. So 37 से petition शुरू होती है. At page 43 ground E देखिएगा. The explanation to Rule 94 of the 2017 rules is also ultra-virus. The 27 Act, वो सब बहस इसमें आगे चलती है. E, F, everything, बल्कि D से शुरू है ये, is dealing with this, that this is ultra-virus. And then kindly come to my prayer, which is at page 46. And the prayer was that the petitioner be declared to be a candidate of the Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, but prayer numbers 2 and 3, 2 in particular is important. This is seeking a judgment in rem. Declare the explanation to Rule 94 of the Election Rules 2017 as ultra-virus, Articles 17(2) and 51(6) and D of the Constitution, as well as the Elections Act 2017, and therefore strike down the same as being unconstitutional and unlawful. So this was the prayer. Now this matter is sent to the Election Commission, but when that happens, this is we file a petition in the Supreme Court on 31/1/2024, बीच में वीकेंड था, सर्टिफाइड कॉपी मिली, and we were able to go to the Supreme Court on the 31st of January 2024. So there is an objection which was first imposed. We removed that objection. Kindly see, it says objection removed on the 1st of February 2024. But then again, kindly see, the petition is returned. अगर ये आप नीचे आइएगा, other objection जहां लिखा है,
ये तो admitted fact है।
मुझे एक मिनट पढ़ लीजिए। My lord has asked the question कि what did we do? Election process has moved far ahead. ये बड़ा अहम है, ये देखिए जरा। Election process has moved far ahead of allotment of election symbol / declaration of candidate as independent or otherwise. Prima facie, laches applies to this case. Now, how does did laches apply to this case, sir? 25th January को फैसला आया है, 31st January को we were before the court, एक दफा हमें वापस हुई, दूसरी दफा हमें वापस कर दी गई, ये कह के laches applies and the election, तो अब हम ये फैसला नहीं कर सकते. Now, yes, between this date, 2nd of January and the 2nd of February and the 8th of February, there were 6 days. Could we have filed an appeal, had our appeal accepted, then the matter heard in court, and then obtained a judgment before the 8th of February? No, it was not possible. So whatever had to happen now had to happen after the 8th of February. Now, after the 8th of February, we just had 3 days to join a party or not join a party. So जनाब ये देखेंगे कि ये कोई कोताही हमारी तरफ से नहीं है. When finally the petitions...
What was the status, how many candidates won the elections to the National Assembly backed by PTI?
We submit...
They contested independent as...
Everybody was declared independent. So we submit that according to the lists that...
ये जो list है reserve seats की, तो ये किस तरह 81 seats आपको जब there was no पार्लिमानी पार्टी inside the parliament, तो वो उनको पहले पार्टी डिक्लेयर किया गया है पीटीआई को
8 member or 2
PTI.
Both the 8-member judgment and the 2-member judgment have declared that PTI entered parliament on the 8th
जो
of February.
जनरल इलेक्शन में आए
जी
उनको पहले डिक्लेयर
जी
किया
डिक्लेयर किया, ऐसा ही हुआ है.
अच्छा.
So 8 member ने भी और 2 member ने भी. 8 member ने 39 को डिक्लेयर 40 को डिक्लेयर 80 को डिक्लेयर किया, 39 plus 41 के 80 entered as PTI on the 8th of February.
ये तो रिजर्व सीट्स की बात हो रही
जी उसकी बेसिस पे रिजर्व सीट्स पे गए ना. सो रिजर्व सीट्स की लिस्टें तो हमने जमा करा दी थी थ्रू कोर्ट ऑर्डर्स एंड सो ऑन. वो हो गई थी.
रिजर्व सीट की लिस्ट कब जमा कराई थी?
हमने 24 से पहले करा दी थी जमा.
ये पीटीआई ने की?
पीटीआई ने,
एसआईसी ने नहीं की.
नो, पीटीआई
24 तक आपका प्रिजम्पशन नहीं बल्कि यकीन था कि पीटीआई इज देयर.
नहीं सर, मैंने अर्ज किया ना.
क्यों लिस्ट जमा की?
सर हमने जब जमा कराई तो हमें वापस हो गई, फिर हम कोर्ट गए.
वो लिस्ट जमा नहीं हुई, वापस नहीं हुई, वो आपकी बरकरार रही.
सर कोर्ट के ऑर्डर के तहत बरकरार
कंप्लीट
हो गया ना सर. लेकिन कोर्ट का ऑर्डर तो बाद में आया ना, 24 को तो कोर्ट का
वो ऑर्डर कब आया?
सर वो मैंने आपको भी बताया. काइंडली
डेट सिर्फ बता दें.
जी मैं आपको बता देता हूँ जी. वो ऑर्डर जो था
इलेक्शन से पहले आया,
लेकिन 24 के तो बाद आया ना.
इलेक्शन से पहले आया ना.
जी 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 जी.
तो जब इलेक्शन से पहले आया तो इलेक्शन के बाद आपको पता था कि पीटीआई के वजूद है और वो कंटेस्टिंग पार्टी भी है?
नहीं सर, हुआ यूं कि एक तो ये
ऑर्डर बता.
नहीं सर मैं बता रहा हूँ सर. एक तो ये मामला था जो हाई कोर्ट से हम इलेक्शन कमीशन गए और एक सीपीएलए हमारी गई जिसपे ऑब्जेक्शंस लगती रहीं. जब हम इलेक्शन कमीशन गए तो इलेक्शन कमीशन ने 2 फरवरी का डेटेड ऑर्डर जो है वो 7 फरवरी को जारी किया. सर दिस इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. और उसमें उन्होंने कह दिया कि आप नहीं हैं पार्टी इन द फ्रे. So PTI is not a party participating in these elections. ये ऑर्डर जारी करता है इलेक्शन कमीशन.
एक तरफ इलेक्शन कमीशन, दूसरी तरफ लाहौर हाई कोर्ट.
लाहौर हाई कोर्ट ने सिर्फ कहा था इनकी लिस्टें ले लें बस.
उन्होंने डिक्लेयर
नहीं से डिक्लेयर नहीं किया. उन्होंने कहा कि इनकी लिस्टें आप ले लें, आप लिस्टें वापस नहीं कर सकते. सो लाहौर
लिस्ट सिर्फ पार्टी जमा कर सकती ना.
सर उन्होंने लिस्टें हमारी जमा. सर अब आप अगर ये कह रहे हैं कि हम इलेक्शन कमीशन के ऑर्डर को इग्नोर कर देते, हम
प्रेजेंस ऑफ हाई कोर्ट्स ऑर्डर यू मस्ट इग्नोर इट.
नहीं सर, हाई कोर्ट ने कोई ऐसा वाजे ऑर्डर नहीं दिया, सिर्फ ये कहा कि इनकी लिस्टें ले लो. वो ले ली उन्होंने लिस्टें, लेकिन उसमें ये बात नहीं हुई.
जरा वो ऑर्डर पढ़े.
सर मैं आता हूँ सर.
ऑर्डर पढ़ो, ज्यादा
जी जी. सर जो रूल 94 को किसी ने
ऑर्डर पढ़ ले हाई कोर्ट
अल्ट्रा वायरीज डिक्लेयर नहीं किया सर,
जिसमें हाई कोर्ट ने आपको
वहां पे. जी मैं 1 मिनट में आता हूँ सर. सर ये हमें जाना पड़ेगा 5917 में CMA पार्ट 1
पेज
सो आप इलेक्शन कमीशन के ऑर्डर को तो इग्नोर नहीं करेंगे. उस वक्त तक एक्सप्लेनेशन टू रूल 94 वाज स्टैंडिंग. इट स्टूड टिल द 8 मेंबर.
हाईकोर्ट का ऑर्डर बताएंगे.
मैं बता रहा हूं आपको सर एक लम्हे के लिए. 5917 में हम जाएंगे जी. तो पेज 10 पे आइए.
वॉल्यूम पार्ट 1
पार्ट 1 ऑफ 5917. यहां पे इन्होंने इलेक्शन कमीशन ने खुद हाई कोर्ट का जो ऑर्डर है वो रिप्रोड्यूस किया है सर. आप देखिएगा पेज 10 पे. दिस इज अ लेटर ऑफ द ऑफिस ऑफ द प्रोविंशियल इलेक्शन कमिश्नर पंजाब डेटेड द 19th of January 2024. तो ये मामला अभी तक चल रहा था. अब आगे देखिए. प्लीज टेक नोटिस that the subject representation titled Farkhanda Kaukab versus Election Commission of Pakistan, etc., was fixed for hearing on 20/24 in view of the direction of the Honorable Lahore High Court, Lahore. The operative part of the court order is reproduced. When confronted how it is maintainable, learned counsel submits that the petitioner will be satisfied if the matter be referred to Swan number 2 with a direction to decide the same in accordance with law within a short span of time. The request made by the petitioner is tenable. Let a copy of this writ petition along with all the annexures be remitted to Swan number 2. Will consider it as a representation of the petitioner and decide the issue in hand after providing proper hearing to all concerned, including the petitioner, strictly in accordance with the provisions of applicable law as well as jurisprudence developed by superior courts of the country through a speaking order within 2 working days from the receipt of certified copy of the. So उन्होंने कोई फाइंडिंग नहीं दी सर. आई एम ग्रेटफुल आपने मेरी तवज्जो उस ऑर्डर. उन्होंने सिर्फ भेज दिया इलेक्शन कमीशन की तरफ कि वो इसका फैसला करे. So as such no finding was given. Kindly see then what they do after this. हम सफा 22 पे आ जाएं अगर. So in fact there is no judicial order.
सलमान साहब इसमें एक और चीज थोड़ी सी क्लेरिफाई कर दीजिए प्लीज. द डिक्लेरेशन टू द एक्सप्लेनेशन ऑफ रूल 94 that it is ultra vires the article 21 section 215 and the constitution,
Sir,
whether this was declared ultra vires in the main judgment or it is mentioned in the short order also.
मुझे देखना पड़ेगा. मेन जजमेंट में तो जरूर है.
मेन जजमेंट में तो पैराग्राफ 39 to 42
जी बिल्कुल है. आपने डिक्लेयर कर दिया.
बट इन द शॉर्ट ऑर्डर
जी जी.
while doing all things and so many other things have been considered, but this rule was not declared ultra vires in the short order. What is the
I would say no
complexity
effect.
of this?
Short order is the operative directions.
Yes.
The operative directions are backed by reasoning.
Suppose in the short order something has not been declared ultra vires because what it does mean, whether this can be done because the reasons assigned to the short order only based on the amplification of the short order. It is not mentioned in the short order, but it is mentioned in the reasons. What would be the effect of that? Whether this was deliberated, considered during course of argument that
It was considered, sir.
Rule 94 should be declared
सर
ultra
बहुत इस
vires.
पे बहस की हमने.
Explanation.
ये सब चीजें मैंने इसीलिए फाइल की थी.
अब नहीं, पहले की बात करें.
तभी फाइल की. मैं नई चीज नहीं कोई फाइल कर रहा. This was all filed before.
Seen the short order,
जी.
but I am not able to find out.
Sir, if it's
where-
not there in the short order, it's not there. But the fact is that the court, in its detailed reasoning, has explained that the
That is why
short.
I am asking you a question. On
Sir, I would have to
it's a legal
refer-
plane because once thing is not considered in the short order because it is a declaration to some rule ultra vires the Constitution or the Election Act. Whether this can be done in the main judgment without declaring it ultra vires in the short order. This is the question I put you. So please answer.
Well, I would have to reflect on this, but my immediate response would be that if the short order encompasses within its scope the ultra vires declaration made in the detailed judgment.
Normally, every short order written in the same manner, and in which the 8 judges, इसमें लिखा हुआ भी है कि for detailed reasons to be recorded later and subject to what is set out therein, therein by way of implication and or explanation or otherwise, these appeals are decided in the following terms. So once a thing is not mentioned in the short order because it is particularly related to declaration of some rule ultra vires to the constitution,
My lord, my
can
lord.
be done in the main reasons.
But I would submit that the short order encompasses this, the ultra vires nature of the explanation, and therefore it should be taken to have been done there and then, even though not expressly mentioned. But this is a new question that my lord has posed. This is not a query raised by the other side, so I don't come prepared on this. But the fact of the matter is that the detailed judgment has indeed declared the explanation to Rule 94 to be ultra vires void ab initio.
Just want to know the practice because we also used to pass short orders with further implication and explication of the main reasons.
My lord.
So this was in my mind. So I'm asking you whether this could be done or not.
My lord, I would have to.
I think short order is the outcome of the particular.
Yes, it is the outcome of the reasoning.
Whereas declaring some provision of law are part of the reasoning. So reasoning maybe in the...
Yes, it is a part of the reasoning, sir. The fact that they came to this conclusion in order to kindly see. So now I have the short order in front of me. Now kindly see. Ye dekhiye, so paragraph 4 in fact is a declaration that the explanation to Rule 94 is non-eth. Paragraph 4 of the short order, kindly see.
ये कौन सा पेज और
ये इन्होंने फाइल की है. I am now in civil review petition. I am looking at 319, but all have the short order.
मैं ठीक है.
Now kindly see the short order is saying as follows. So they have declared the order of the Election Commission to be ultra vires, not granting seats to PTI. That is done in paragraph 2. Then in paragraph 3, they've declared various notifications whereby seats have been granted to others to be without legal consequence. And 4, kindly see, 4 and 5 give the complete reasoning. It is declared that the lack or denial of an election symbol does not in any manner affect the constitutional and legal rights of a political party to participate in an election, whether general or by, and to field candidates, and the Commission is under a constitutional duty to act and construe and apply all statutory provisions accordingly. It is declared that for the purposes and within the meaning of paragraphs D and E of clause 6 of Article 51 and paragraph C of clause 3 of Article 106 of the Constitution, the Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf was and is a political party which secured or won the 2 terms being interchangeable, general seats in the national and provincial assemblies in the general elections of 2024 as herein after provided. So this I would submit, my lord, these 2 paragraphs are a complete negation of the explanation to Rule 94. Because
Don't you think that the declaration to some provision of law ultra vires is a very significant situation and
Expressly
position?
required.
But my lord, will my lord then set aside this judgment on this ground that the short order had not expressly? I would submit as a matter of course, yes.
This is not the question of setting aside or
Ji, ji.
non-setting
On this
aside.
ground.
This is a legal question
So-
which I am putting to
so,
you.
my lord, I would submit-
It will also come in future in so many
Quite
cases
so.
because I used to pass in so many cases short order. Then it is also learning for me
Ji,
whether I can do this or I can't.
I would submit, my lord,
for the practice of
it would have been better if at the end of paragraph 5 they would have added a line and hence the explanation of Rule 94 is declared non-eth void ab initio.
Application is based on the short order.
Yes.
Whatever the short order, you may
But the-
amplify this in 1,000 pages.
Right, so the entire reasoning is contained in the short order, paragraphs 4 and 5.
While mentioning so many provisions
जी,
for
ठीक कह रहे हैं आप,
declaring
ठीक
the
कह रहे हैं। So-
PTI
so
as a
for-
political party,
aspect provision.
So
it
4
would
and
have been
5,
very good to mention. Rule
I bow, my lord,
94
I
as
bow.
well, because
I bow.
this is the explanation which outs you.
yes, my lord. So while negating the explanation in paragraphs 4 and 5, they've done everything to negate that explanation and to say that the explanation is ultra vires. They could have added those words and that the explanation is hereby
But the other
declared.
side should not be taken into surprise in the reasons assigned to a short order when one thing which is not mentioned in the short order, you are just putting it into the reasons.
But I would say this is not a matter of surprise here because they've declared the effect of the explanation to Rule 94 to be ultra vires. There's nothing left after this.
Sometimes we simply say petition is allowed or petition is dismissed.
ये भी तो होता है सर.
So we submit all detail in the judgment.
Everything comes later. ये भी है. कोई short, बिल्कुल, I am grateful sir. कोई short order के rules नहीं हैं कि short order में क्या लिखना है. अगर उन्होंने कर दिया एक petition allow कर दी, they can add while writing the detailed judgment. So this is what they've done. In fact, they've given. Sir, मैं आगे बढ़ता हूँ. Sir, मैं आगे बढ़ता हूँ. So what I wanted to show was that there was all of this going on between the 22nd of December and in fact till the end of January. The Election Commission was still sitting in a judgment over whether our lists are to be recognized or not recognized and so on. But what is clear is that our lists had been filed. And there was no declaration by any court till that time that the explanation to Rule 94 is void, ultra vires, and so on. That declaration comes later in the 8-member judgment, as my Lord has just pointed out, paragraphs 39 onwards. So once that declaration has come, the explanation to Rule 94 will be considered non-eth, never in existence. And it is this explanation that caused all of the confusion. So I hope I have now satisfied my Lord Justice Kakad about the explanation to Rule 94, how it has fared over time and how it was challenged, and the challenge was not entertained on the ground that we are now too close to the elections to determine the question of whether somebody is independent or not independent. Your petition suffers from laches. And between that date, 2nd of February and the 8th of February, there was no reasonable hope of an appeal being accepted and the petition being put up and notices being issued and then the petition being decided. So whatever had to happen after the 8th of February. And after the 8th of February, these various petitions were filed before the high courts, in particular the Peshawar High Court, and ultimately the matter came to the Supreme Court. And the question of the vires of the explanation to Rule 94 is very much an issue before.
वो order दिखाएंगे आप जिसके तहत PTI को उन्होंने कहा कि PTI is not a party. Where is that order?
वो तो 2 फरवरी का ऑर्डर है ना इलेक्शन कमीशन का. So कई दफा आपके सामने वो पढ़ा गया. मैं 1 मिनट, उसमें यही एक्सप्लेनेशन का हवाला दिया गया है. मैं 1 मिनट जनाब आपको वो भी दिखा देता हूँ. ढूंढ दीजिए. तो वो अभी मैंने सामने नहीं रखा हुआ था. आई विल फाइंड दैट. वो ऑर्डर तो जनाब कई दफा पढ़ा गया. इनफैक्ट वो जजमेंट में भी रिप्रोड्यूस हुआ है.
वही से पढ़ ले.
जी जजमेंट में भी आप देखिएगा कि दैट ऑर्डर हैज बीन रिप्रोड्यूस्ड एट लेंथ to show how the election commission went wrong. मैं एक लम्हे में जाता हूँ.
डेट क्या थी उसकी?
उसकी डेट थी जी 2 फरवरी. जी ये रिप्रोड्यूस हुआ है.
Page.
1 मिनट.
वो तो मुझे ऐसा लगता है जजमेंट मुझे कैसी स्टॉप करने के लिए हमने बात भी खास ये समझ रखा है कि सब एक्सटेंशन मिलेंगे.
So अभी मैं ढूंढ देता हूँ that order. That was dated the 2nd of February, but it was. I'll just come to that. उसमें उन्होंने 2 बातें की. एक्सप्लेनेशन टू रूल 94 और उन्होंने कहा हम गौहर खान को चेयरमैन ही नहीं मानते, therefore गौहर खान's tickets we will not take into consideration. These are the 2 things that they said in that order dated the 2nd of February, which in fact was released on the 7th
He
of
was
February.
the chairman.
वो आपने कह दिया in the 8-member judgment कि वो बिल्कुल चेयरमैन थे. De facto doctrine applied to
De facto doctrine.
जी de facto doctrine applied to him and therefore tickets issued by him are to be treated as validly issued. So ये 2 पॉइंट थे उस इलेक्शन कमीशन के ऑर्डर में जिसकी वजह से उन्होंने हमें नहीं माना. सर 1-2 सवाल आपके और थे. I'll just point to in the main judgment paragraph 80. आपका ये सवाल था कि कहाँ उन्होंने कहा है कि SIC को जो ज्वाइन करना है has no consequence for the purposes of grant of reserved seats. That is page 45 in CMA 2919 and paragraph 80. इस वजह से they overcame this objection that these people have joined the SIC and therefore they can now no longer be treated as PTI. They said no, this joining of the SIC is a non-eth event. इससे कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ा. And this
Para 80 आप कह रहे हैं.
जी para 80 at page 45 of CMA 2919. Since SIC has not contested for and won one or more general seats in the National Assembly from the provinces concerned or from anywhere in the country, it is not such a political party to which any of the independent returned candidates can join for the purposes of paragraph.
This is relevant for the purpose of.
जी ठीक हो गया. For the purposes of paragraphs D and E.
Otherwise they can join.
जी ठीक हो गया. Of Article 51(6) of the therefore the act of joining it by some returned candidates has not produced any result, and the legal status of such returned candidates remains the same as it was before such an act. As SIC has not won general seats, it is not entitled to allocation of the disputed reserved seats. However, as shall be mentioned later in detail, it has been determined by 11 members of the bench with varying figures that PTI has contested for and won some general seats in the National Assembly from the provinces concerned, and it is a political party entitled to allocation of the disputed reserved seats under paragraphs D
तो
and E.
मेरा जो लीगल इशू तो ये नहीं, आप सिर्फ ये बात ना करें इस वक्त हमारे सामने SIC है या PTI है. जनरली बात करें कि किसी के राइट को आप खत्म नहीं कर सकते, उसकी मर्जी है, वो उन पार्टी में शामिल नहीं होते जिन्होंने इलेक्शन जीता, उस पार्टी में शामिल होते जिन्होंने इलेक्शन कंटेस्ट नहीं किया.
जी ठीक हो.
लेकिन फॉर द पर्पस ऑफ रिजर्व सीट वो इंटाइटल नहीं होगी.
और इस पैरा 80 की बुनियाद पे फिर पैरा 96 जो हमने देखा था उसमें काइंडली सी द लास्ट पैराग्राफ ऑफ पैरा 96 जो ये 1, 2, 3 चल रहे हैं. It is numbered 5, it should be numbered Roman 6, small Roman 6. The wrong acceptance of the joining of some returned candidates to SIC by the Commission, despite that it was not such a political party to which an independent returned candidate could join under the proviso to paragraphs D and E of Article 51(6) and paragraph C of Article 1063 or under clause 2 of Article 63 of the Constitution. So they said 11 of your lordships out of 13 overcame this joining by saying,
joining to the extent of those who mentioned themselves as
See,
candidate belonging
आप
to
भी फर्क है ना सर आपका.
इन्होंने भी ये बात की.
जी ठीक हो गया सर. अब ये देखिए कि जो आपकी और 8 मेंबर की डिसएग्रीमेंट है वो पैरा 104 ऑनवर्ड्स उन्होंने उसको एग्जामिन किया है कि व्हाई योर लॉर्डशिप द 2 जजेस एंड व्हाई द 8 हैव डिसएग्रीड. उसको बिल्कुल उन्होंने अहाता किया है इस डिसएग्रीमेंट का. They've noted your lordship's contention. Kindly see paragraph 104 at page 56. So it's not something that has escaped their notice. They've applied their minds to it. They've taken my lord's point of view into consideration, but not agreed with it. Kindly see paragraph 104 onwards. We all, us 8 and our 3 colleagues. My lords with me, my lady?
Yes.
Ji.
Page 56.
We all, us 8 and our 3 colleagues, agreed that due to unlawful acts and omissions of the returning officers and the Commission, PTI, its candidates and the electorate have suffered. The loss of some of their constitutional and statutory rights, particularly their right to proportional representation in the reserved seats. However, we differed on how we could, by virtue of an obligation of justice ex debito justitiae, restore them to that right and place them in so far as possible in the same position they would have been if such unlawful acts and omissions had not occurred. Para 105. Our learned colleagues, Honorable the Chief Justice and Justice Jamal Khan Mandukhel, have formed the opinion that the candidates who had submitted their nomination papers declaring that they belonged to PTI and had not filed a document showing affiliation with another political party before the last date of withdrawal of the nomination papers should have been treated as PTI returned candidates. Whereas our learned colleague, Justice Yahya Afridi, is of the view that a candidate for a seat in the National Assembly or the Provincial Assembly who in his/her nomination paper has declared on oath to belong to PTI and duly submitted a certificate of the same political party confirming that he/she is the nominated candidate of PTI for the respective constituency shall remain so unless he/she submitted a written declaration to the Election Commission of Pakistan or returning officer to be treated as the candidate of another political party or as an independent candidate. We respect their opinions but disagree. 106. the logic of words should yield to the logic of realities. With great respect, our learned colleagues have assumed and accepted that PTI candidates filed declarations of their affiliation with another political party, PTI Nazariati, which were not even accepted by the returning officers under the order of the Commission, because the Commission had on the 13th of January issued a direction saying no other ticket should be accepted from PTI candidates or from any candidate on the 13th of January, which is a very strange order. They said, in particular, anybody who has shown affiliation to PTI, if that person now files another ticket, it will be disregarded, which were not even accepted by the returning officers under the order of the Commission by their own free will, uninfluenced by any constraint of the circumstances. So this was the difference. Was this happening out of free will, unconstrained by the force of circumstances, or was this something which was happening because of the gross confusion and the circumstances that had come about? This was the...
I think in my note there is no mention of any PTI Nazariati.
ठीक हो गया सर,
मैंने
ठीक
नहीं
हो
डिस्कस किया, पता नहीं ये कहाँ से बात आई.
नहीं नहीं सर, ये तो जनरल में बात कर रही हैं अब.
This is not in my judgment. वो कह रहे हैं ना, our colleagues
अच्छा.
have assumed, accepted that PTI can.
Our conscience, आगे सर, our conscience, देखिए वो ये कह रही हैं कि आपने ये कहा है कि सिर्फ जिनके कागज में PTI का जिक्र है उन्हीं को PTI तस्वर किया जाएगा.
ये बात ये लोग खुद
ठीक होगी, लेकिन अगर किसी के कागजों में इंडिपेंडेंट या नजरियाती का जिक्र है तो उनको PTI नहीं माना
जो
जाएगा.
बात मैं कह रहा हूँ वो बात ये 8 मेंबर्स पैराग्राफ 110 में कह रहे हैं कि
सर मैं आ रहा हूँ,
दो चीजें चाहिए.
सर मैं आ रहा हूँ. That our conscience and understanding of the realities of the case do not allow us to assume and accept this position. So they're saying our conscience does not allow us to assume कि हर चीज नॉर्मल हो रही थी और इन्होंने बस बिला वजह अपनी मर्जी से अपने आप को इंडिपेंडेंट डिक्लेयर कर दिया. Our conscience does not allow us, keeping in view the realities of the case, to accept this. We are completely at a loss to understand the logic other than the constraint of the circumstances as to why a candidate of a national level political party, PTI, which had once formed the federal government and 2 provincial governments, would supersede his candidature of that party, PTI, with the party, PTI Nazariati, whose name had not even been heard by most of the electorate, or why he would leave the candidature of the PTI and become an independent candidate. Ye important baat hai. By his own free will. Had it been a case of 1 or 2 candidates, we might have imagined some plausibility of free will in their actions. However, we cannot assume by any stretch of the imagination that hundreds of candidates for the National Assembly and the provincial assemblies would act in such a manner by their own free will, not under the constraints of the circumstances created by the unlawful acts and omissions of the public functionaries, the returning officers and the Commission. Therefore, we have found that notwithstanding their subsequent filing of a declaration to be treated as candidates of PTI Nazariati or as independent candidates, 39 returned candidates out of the list of 80 submitted by the Commission who had either filed party certificates, party tickets of PTI or declared their affiliation with PTI in their nomination forms or statutory declarations / affidavits are the returned candidates of PTI. 107. Similar is the position of those candidates whom our learned colleagues have treated as independent returned candidates because they had not mentioned themselves as belonging to PTI in their nomination papers. In respect of these candidates, who are 41 according to the record produced by the Commission, our learned colleagues have presumed that they were independent candidates and that none of them has appeared before the court to rebut that presumption. ये आपका जो point है, they've noted that कि इनका ये
We have not stated that we are presuming that. We stated that on the face of record.
सर ठीक हो गया सर, मुझे पढ़ने दें.
ये presumption के खिलाफ
नहीं सर, वो ये कह रही हैं कि आपका ये तकाजा था कि वो खुद आके कोर्ट के सामने रिबट करते. उन्होंने उनको मौका दे दिया है रिबट करने का कि आप 15 दिन में जाके रिबट कर दें कि मैं PTI नहीं हूं या मैं PTI हूं. Sir, affidavits are not only filed in a court, they can be filed before any authority. उन्होंने कहा ये बजाय इसके कि हम एफिडेविट उनसे कोर्ट में मंगवाएं, हम उनको मौका दे देते हैं कि वो एफिडेविट इलेक्शन कमीशन के सामने फाइल कर दें. Why before the Supreme Court? The Election Commission is the guardian of the election process. So they have laid down a process. वही बात जो जनाब कह रहे थे कि हमारे पास एफिडेविट वो फाइल कर देते आके. उन्होंने कहा यही एफिडेविट आप वहां फाइल कर दें इलेक्शन कमीशन में. आगे देखिए. We must say that we tried hard to understand how in a parliamentary democracy based on a political party's system, as underlined by this court in Benazir Bhutto, such a large number of candidates to the seats in the National Assembly and the provincial assemblies could inspire and win the confidence of the electorate as independents. No satisfactory answer to this query was presented before us on behalf of the Commission and other respondents. The assertion of SIC and PTI that they were also PTI candidates and the electorate voted for them for their being PTI candidates, though appears satisfactory, but is not supported by the record presently before us. Therefore, it is the most challenging matter involved in the case where the scales of the requirements of law and of justice are to be justly, fairly, and reasonably balanced. We do not find any force in the argument that those returned candidates who have not appeared before us to rebut the presumption accepted by our learned colleagues, because we find that they are before us speaking through SIC. What SIC says on facts is the version of those returned candidates. SIC speaks for them before us. Both SIC and PTI have narrated the same facts and circumstances that led to the mentioning of their status as independent candidates in the nomination papers. Both have claimed that they were also PTI candidates and that the electorate voted for them for being PTI candidates. मैंने अपनी application अभी आपको पढ़ के सुनाई थी 5913. They in their individual capacities did not have such voting support of the electorate. 110. As held above, while exercising their general powers under Article 2183 and Article 187(1) of the Constitution respectively, the Commission and this Court must endeavour to adhere to the spirit and substance of the provisions of law, that although not explicitly covering the matter or issues are closely related to it, so that the legislative intent may be given effect to the maximum extent possible. According to Section 66 of the Elections Act, two elements make a person the candidate of a political party. One, the candidate's own declaration that he belongs to that party, and two, the party's certificate, party ticket nominating him as its candidate. It is thus a matter between the candidate and the party to which he claims affiliation. No consent or authorization from any third person or authority is required to establish their relationship and the candidate's status. This is the substance and spirit of Section 66 of the Election Act.
This paragraph does not contradict the
बिल्कुल ठीक है,
remaining paragraph को contradict कर रहे हैं खुद ही.
सर नहीं, उसमें सिर्फ उन्होंने ये कहा
कहते हैं कि दो कंडीशन पे ही आप किसी को पार्टी कैंडिडेट समझो, तो हाउ इंडिपेंडेंट कैंडिडेट? हमने तो प्रिज्यूम नहीं किया, हमने तो देखा.
सर देखिए, आपका पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू उन्होंने नोट कर लिया. वो ये कह रही है, जो फर्क मुझे समझ आया है, विद ग्रेट रिस्पेक्ट, आपने कहा कि हम जो एग्जामिनेशन है रोक देंगे.
नहीं, मेरे छोड़ दे
सर मैं अर्ज कर लूं,
इनकी अपनी बात करो.
जी, उनकी अपनी मैं बता रहा हूं उन्होंने क्या कहा है. सर उन्होंने ये कहा कि आप सिर्फ जो डॉक्यूमेंट्री रिकॉर्ड आपके सामने आया है उस तक अपने आप को रिस्ट्रिक्ट कर रहे हैं. दैट इज ऑब्वियसली अ प्लॉजिबल वे फॉरवर्ड, बट व्हाट दे हैव डन इज दे हैव गॉन बियॉन्ड दैट डॉक्यूमेंट्री रिकॉर्ड. दे हैव लुक्ड एट द circumstances in totality. They have said ऐसा नहीं है कि ये इतने सारे लोग 80 या 86 जो हैं ये सब इंडिपेंडेंट हो गए हैं. They have looked at the names, they have looked at.
प्रिज्यूम किया.
सर एक मिनट सर मैं अर्ज कर दूं. ठीक है, उन्होंने किया ना सर. कोर्ट कैन डू दैट, अ कोर्ट कैन डू दैट. सर मैं भी आता हूं इस केस लॉ पे भी कि व्हाट आर द प्राइमा फेशियल फैक्ट्स.
सब आप आइए वो केस लॉ पे जो आपने
मैं एक मिनट मुझे करने दीजिए. सर ये मैंने नोट आपके सामने रखा है, नोट नंबर 5. इसको जरा एक लम्हे के लिए देख लीजिएगा कि फैक्ट्स कैसे एस्टैब्लिश होते हैं, पर्टिकुलरली इन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल.
हो गए ना, अरबू हो.
सर एक लम्हा सर वो जज साहब फरमा रहे हैं, मंदुखेल साहब
ठीक है, आपकी बात मैं समझ गया. अब मेन पे
सर एक लम्हा मुझे सिर्फ
ब्रेक से पहले आपने
जी जी मैं कर. सर ये नोट 5 में पढ़ता नहीं हूँ, सिर्फ ये आपके सामने अगर
हमारे सामने है.
सर इस नोट 5 में मैंने वली खान के केस से लेकर डॉक्टर मुबशर हसन और उसके बाद सिंध हाई कोर्ट बार इटसेल्फ, इन सब में उन्होंने कहा है कि इट इज द ड्यूटी ऑफ द कोर्ट टू टेक जुडिशियल नोटिस ऑफ फैक्ट्स व्हिच आर देयर, व्हिच आर एविडेंट. ये कोई जरूरी नहीं है कि वहां पे कानूनी शहादत के तहत इन कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल प्रोसीडिंग्स गवाह पेश हों और क्रॉस एग्जामिनेशन हो. आप मीडिया रिपोर्ट्स को, अखबारों को, द एम्बियंस व्हिच एग्जिस्टेड एट अ पर्टिकुलर पॉइंट इन टाइम, उसको आप देख सकते हैं. ये नोट जरूर देखिएगा. ठीक, एंड दैट इज एग्जैक्टली व्हाट द 8 मेंबर्स हैव डन. आपने डॉक्यूमेंट्री रिकॉर्ड तक अपने आप को महदूद किया. उन्होंने कहा कि नहीं, हम इन तमाम सराउंडिंग सर्कमस्टांसेस को देखेंगे. सो दिस इज अ डिफरेंस इन अप्रोच. और वो देख के उन्होंने कहा कि वी विल declare these 41 not PTI ourselves, but we will give them a method. we will give them that method of filing an affidavit before the Election Commission and the acceptance by the party before the Election Commission. This is where they have relied on the Sindh High Court bar and the presidential reference of 1988 to devise a method to bring matters back to the constitutional path. The constitutional path had been deviated from because of the explanation to Rule 94. So they declare that explanation ultra vires and they give everybody an opportunity. And those 80 who had joined the SIC on one day, they said, look, all these are circumstances that we have to take into account. अब ये जो मैंने आपको एक हैंड आउट दिया था इलेक्शन एनालिसिस का, उसका सिर्फ आखिरी सफा देख लें, एक सफा रह गया था. जो अब इनका इरादा है इलेक्शन कमीशन का इस हैंड आउट में, बाय नॉट गिविंग पीटीआई एनी सीट्स, उसका क्या नतीजा होगा ये आप पेज 4 पे देख लीजिए. Punjab mein, according to the Election Commission, 36% seats were won by candidates who joined SIC but who have now been declared PTI by this court. इनके मुताबिक उस 36% के मुकाबले में उनको 0% सीट्स मिलेंगी. And so on. So इसका नतीजा ये होगा कि the other parties, किसी की 5% सीट्स हैं, किसी की 3% सीट्स हैं, किसी की 2% हैं, उनको 8, 10, 15, 20% रिजर्व सीट्स मिल जाएंगी. So completely जो छोटा सा फर्क आपने फरमाया कि कई दफा होता है इंडिपेंडेंस की वजह से, वो सिर्फ डेसिमल पॉइंट्स का फर्क होता है कि आपने 50% रिजर्व सीट्स जीती थी, आपको 51%, 50% जनरल जीती थी, आपको 51% रिजर्व मिल गई. इससे बड़ा फर्क नहीं होता. ये नहीं होता कि आपने
सब ये साहबजादा साहब की पोजीशन तो admittedly he was an independent candidate.
He filed SIC in alliance with PTI, but he was declared independent.
And he contested election as an independent candidate.
He contested as SIC in alliance with PTI, but he was declared independent in the Form 33 because of the mention of PTI. That is the admitted position. उनका nomination paper भी यहाँ फाइल हुआ था.
जो 39 candidates थे who won the election and backed by PTI और जिन्होंने mention भी किया था political party as a PTI, तो if they are declared as PTI party in the parliament, तो फिर वो 3 दिन का वो जो है वो हट जाएगा उनके पास. There will be no necessity of giving 3 days to them to join any political party.
उन्होंने तो ज्वाइन ही नहीं करनी, वो तो
उन्होंने फिर नहीं ज्वाइन
उन्हें तो ज्वाइन ही नहीं करनी, वो तो
वो खुद ही एक political party declare.
This is what the 8 members have said. They have said कि 3 दिन की कदगन will not come into play because this 39 group of 39 plus this group of 41, मंदुखेल साहब ने 39 तक महदूद किया, 8 member ने 39 plus 41 कर दिया. कहते they will be treated as PTI from day 1. So they don't have to join any party. They are PTI. PTI becomes a political
3 days
party.
का embargo था वो
खत्म, वो कोई नहीं है. So 41 के लिए सिर्फ उन्होंने ये कहा कि ये जो एफिडेविट देना था सेक्शन 66 के तहत वो अब दे दें, और जो पार्टी ने एक्सेप्टेंस करनी थी वो अब कर लें, because circumstances existed which they are satisfied prevented them from declaring their affiliation properly to PTI at that time. So this is a judicial finding arrived at. Now my lord disagreed with it. Some of the other judges disagreed with it. My Lord Justice Aminuddin, Naeem Akhtar Afghan disagreed with it. But 8 judges held that these 41 also should be given an opportunity to declare their affiliation. So the question now arises that this finding having been arrived at after consideration of all points of view, my Lord's point of view, आपकी judgment का भी उन्होंने अहाता की है, they've considered all varying points of view and they've come to a conclusion. Now, is that conclusion to be reviewed? If so, under which ground of our review jurisprudence, which is so well known to us? उसमें मैंने पहले भी जनाब के सामने कुछ जजमेंट्स पढ़ी थी फ्रॉम माय बाइंडर, ये जो मैंने दिया था. इसमें जनाब देखेंगे अब्दुल गफ्फार वाला केस पढ़ा था मैंने, जहां अजमल मियां साहब ने कॉर्नेलियस साहब की, कैकाउस साहब की जजमेंट्स रिप्रोड्यूस की हैं, that merely because a different view can be taken, or even if the review bench comes to the conclusion that the construction of the law was erroneous, is no ground for review. Because it's the Supreme Court which has constructed the law. आप किसी और केस में ठीक कर दीजिएगा लॉ को. इस केस में finality applies to the construction of the law arrived at by the Supreme Court of Pakistan. Review में आप उसको ठीक नहीं कर सकते. You can disagree with it in some other case and say we overruled the previous judgment. But this review jurisdiction cannot be used to act as if this is an appeal where an erroneous, according to the bench, interpretation of the law is to be corrected. तो ये पूरी jurisprudence जनाब के सामने है, जिसको मैंने एक नोट आपको दिया है on the review jurisdiction of this court, note number 3.
Already you have argued.
जी मैं उस पर कुछ नहीं कर रहा, नोट 3 में my Lord Justice Muhammad Ali Mazhar साहब has finally condensed and reproduced the jurisprudence, all of the principles. ये अगर आप एक लम्हे के लिए नोट 3 को देखेंगे, इस नोट 3 के आप देखिएगा पहला पेज है 2023 PTD 964.
का हो गया ना?
जी मैं एक नाम सर, इसमें कुछ नहीं पढ़ रहा, इसमें आप सिर्फ ये देखिए पॉइंट्स जो दिए जस्टिस मोहम्मद अली मजहर साहब ने, उसमें आप 1, 2, 3 सब ये कह रहे हैं मिसकंस्ट्रक्शन ऑफ लॉ इज नो ग्राउंड फॉर रिव्यू, erroneous judgment is no ground for review. None of this is ground for review. It can provide basis in some other case to lay down new law, distinct law. But in this case, this is not a ground for review unless...
Divergent views on review and the judgment which you are quoting, authored by me,
Yes.
with the plethora of the judgments have been mentioned.
पूरा आपने
So
law
many judgment, it is also been held that if it is found against the law or the constitution, the court may consider it. So there are divergent views
Sir,
on
मैं
the
अर्ज करूं।
review that has been mentioned in my.
सर उसमें जनाब ये देखेंगे, इसीलिए मैंने जो जजमेंट्स पढ़ी कॉर्नेलियस साहब की, कैकाउस साहब की, अजमल मियां साहब की, ये इस पेपर वर्क में काइंडली सी, दीज आर एट सीरियल नंबर्स आपके
It is
सामने.
found that there is some deviation from the
But
constitution.
injustice,
law.
sir, injustice in सब में
Injustice भी है. There are so many grounds. आप
Sir,
इसको
injustice
तो-
ultimately-
it has a very broad spectrum of
sir,
the review jurisdiction के आप कई
सर
चीजें
इतना ब्रॉड नहीं है, मैं अर्ज करूं, आपने ये कहा है
केस लॉ बहुत ब्रॉड है इस पे.
केस लॉ ब्रॉड है, बट ultimately जनाब ने ये कहा है, and this court has consistently said that there should be some injustice pleaded before the court. Somebody should come and say that because of this error or misconstruction of the law, I have been unjustly dealt with. So injustice is the primary objective of the review jurisdiction, to undo injustice. Now what is the injustice pleaded before this court? मैंने जनाब के सामने ये election analysis रख दिया है. हमारी डेमोक्रेटिक जस्टिस की ट्रेडिशन तो यही है कि जनरल सीट्स जितनी मिली हैं उसी के रेशो में लगभग 37% जनरल हैं तो 37% आपको रिजर्व मिल गई. इट इज नेवर जस्टिस टू से कि आपने 20% जनरल जीती हैं लेकिन आपको 55% रिजर्व मिल जाएंगी. दैट मेक्स पार्लियामेंट अनरिप्रेजेंटेटिव, क्लियरली सो. इट गोज बियॉन्ड द रूलिंग इंटेंट ऑफ आर्टिकल 51 to give reserved seats in the same proportion as the general seats won.
So, राज साहब ये तो फिर आप फार्मूला पे जा रहे हैं.
नहीं फार्मूले पे नहीं जा रहा सर, मैं जस्टिस के तस्वुर पे जा रहा हूँ.
जब सीट्स डिक्लेयर होंगी किसी भी पार्टी की, इन
Sir,
अकॉर्डिंग विद फार्मूला मिल
नहीं सर, इसमें
क्वेश्चन तो वो
ये टेक्निकल बात नहीं है सर. इसमें
Not
नीचे
the technical.
सर, इट इज अ क्वेश्चन ऑफ द रिप्रेजेंटेटिवनेस ऑफ पार्लियामेंट.
ठीक है.
Is parliament going to remain representative if no seats are given to PTI? Or is it going to become more representative if the method followed by my Lord Justice Mandokhail is followed? Or it becomes, I would submit, even better, more representative if the realities taken into account by the 8-member bench are accepted. So both these judgments have tried to make Parliament actually representative of political reality. So that we don't have parliament, we don't have reserved seats for women and non-Muslims, which are only token seats. कि बस कुछ औरतें चाहिए थी, ये लो हमने औरतें दे दी तुम्हें. कुछ non-Muslim चाहिए थे, ये लो हमने तुम्हें non-Muslim दे दिए. That is not the intent of the Constitution. The intent of the Constitution is democratic representativeness.
Definitely, on
सर
the
मैं
basis
अर्ज
of
कर रहा हूँ
the
सर,
seats.
अब आपने ये देखना है कि ये जस्टिस का तकाजा यहाँ पे क्या है. I would submit humbly and forcefully that both the judgments, the 8-member and the 2-member, have moved things in the direction of democratic justice. These judgments must not be overruled. They cannot be overruled on the touchstone of injustice. The 8-member, I would submit, is a judgment of this court. Not one ground has been presented before this court to say that this judgment was wrong, other than, I would say, the quo warranto ground and the 225, if these are taken to be serious grounds. Now let's come to the Khurshid Bhinder judgment. सर ये जो इलेक्शन कमीशन का आप ऑर्डर मांग रहे थे मुझसे, वो है CMA 5272 में of 2024 filed by Faisal Siddiqui साहब at page 21. 5272 of 2024 filed by Mr. Faisal Siddiqui. It is at page 21. सर एक नोट before I read Khurshid Bhinder, आपके सामने है. Again, I'll not read this. This is note number 6. This is about 184.3. इसमें सिर्फ मैंने आपको जो एक जजमेंट दिखानी है, पहली जजमेंट है वतन पार्टी. वो काइंडली सी उसका पैरा 53 इसके पेज 2 पे, जिसमें they have said 184.3 proceedings are inquisitorial and all materials
Citation
produced by any intervener can be looked.
Citation.
This is PLD 2011 Supreme Court 997 मेरे इस नोट नंबर 6 में.
It is largely related to Article 189 of the Constitution.
No, sir, this is related to 187 and 184. और मैंने पहले अर्ज कर दिया, based on Peer Sabir Shah and Dosani Travels, that even in an appeal, your lordships can invoke 184.3, read with 187. So 187 has substance, both in terms of inherent jurisdiction, plenary jurisdiction, but clearly in terms of the expressly granted jurisdiction in terms of 184.3 to enforce fundamental rights where there is a question of general public importance. So Peer Sabir Shah, Salim Akhtar Saab's note, endorsed and made part of the judgment of the court in Dosani Travels and then relied upon by the 8-member bench judgment in this case, provides us this clear path that even when hearing an appeal without any procedural complexity, the court can rely on Article 184.3 and appeal proceedings then take the color of 184.3 proceedings. Now that is clear established jurisprudence which this court has relied upon, and Dosani Travels is expressly mentioned in paragraph 115 of the 8-member bench judgment at page 61 in the context of Article 187. So when we read Dosani Travels, it talks of 184.3 in terms of Peer Sabir Shah. That entire jurisprudence forms the basis of the 8-member bench judgment, and I would say of also my Lord Justice Mandukhel's judgment. Now in this note on 184.3, the Watan Party case I've just mentioned, para 53 I've highlighted, which says that proceedings are inquisitorial and interveners can place any material before the court. Ugly judgment, which I take my lords to and my lady to, is at the next page, Imran Ahmed Khan Niazi versus Federation, PLD 2024, Supreme Court 103. Isme Janab ne ye kaha ki in 184.3 proceedings, everybody before the court is essentially an informant, because we are acting for the benefit of the public at large. We are not acting in 184.3 proceedings for one individual, one petitioner or the other. The proceedings are to enforce fundamental rights for the public at large. Now, therefore, ye janab aapke sawal ka bhi jawab hoga. I am appearing today before your lordships both as respondent number 1 in civil review petition 319. Usme I am respondent number 1, so I appear as if it were right. But I've also filed CMs, which I had filed in the original appeal
Respondent
proceedings.
number 1 in
Civil Review Petition 319 of 2024. So I have power for respondent number 1 in Civil Review Petition 319. But I had earlier in the first round filed applications, which are before your lordships, 5913 on behalf of PTI, and there was the other application, which is 5917 on behalf of Kawal Shozeb, who was one of our nominated candidates in the lists and is the president of PTI Women's Wing. So there I have been treated as an informant. Janab agar dekhenge para 117 of the judgment, they've said hame inko formally party banane ki zarurat nahi thi. Inka point of view samne aa gaya.
उनके नॉमिनेशन पेपर एक्सेप्ट हो गए थे 8 ऑफ पीटीआई.
जी. So हमने तो दरखास्त दी थी कि हमें फॉर्मली पार्टी बनाया जाए चमसाया की बेसिस पे. फॉर्मली आपने कंवल शौजब को नहीं बनाया पार्टी, लेकिन आपने कंवल शौजब को भी, पीटीआई और गौहर खान को भी ट्रीट किया है एज इन्फॉर्मेंट्स इन पैराग्राफ्स 117 से लेकर 118 तक. एंड दैट इज व्हाई द मटीरियल फाइल्ड बाय पीटीआई / गौहर अली खान एंड कंवल शौजब हैज बीन सो एक्सटेंसिवली रिलाइड अपॉन in the judgment of the 8-member bench. They said, हमने सुन लिया, आपका material हमने ले लिया. This is for us now to see what we do with it. You don't have to be formally made parties. Now this is a decision arrived at by the 8-member bench. लेकिन आज मैं आपके सामने, I'm appearing in CRP 319 also as a respondent. जनाब की हिदायत पे I looked at order 5, वो जो तरीका है impleadment का and so on, but this is not that situation, because for PTI, Kamal Shawzab, Ghaur Ali Khan, I am an informant. But in CRP, I'm also a respondent, number one. And there I kind of assist as of right. So, Janab, ye hai case law on the 184.3 jurisprudence, where correctly your lordships heard me and heard the arguments and took note of the material that was filed and are doing so in these proceedings as well, apart from hearing me as respondent in CRP 319.
You mean to say that during the proceedings of Article 185(3), we can exercise power under
184.3
as well?
Yes, yes. Sir, Sabir Shah is very clear. मैंने जनाब को इसीलिए वो पढ़ के सुनाया था. सलीम अख्तर साहब और जनाब का मुझसे सवाल था कि कोई procedural requirement होती है while hearing an appeal. In Peer Sabir Shah, it was not even an appeal under Article 185, so it was not a constitutional appeal. It was an appeal directly to the Supreme Court under Section 8B of the Political Parties Act of 1962. And your lordship said, we have full power under Article 187. There were separate notes written by several of their lordships. Some only referred to 187, its inherent and plenary powers. Some referred to, Salim Akhtar Saab in particular, 187 read with 184.3. They said express power is available to us under 184.3. Even when hearing a statutory appeal, we remain the Supreme Court of Pakistan. All powers of the Supreme Court are available to us. No procedure is required. And they struck down 8B. The very provision under which the appeal had come to the Supreme Court was struck down. It was the petitioners or the appellants before the court had not challenged the vires of 8P. They said, we think this is ultra vires and we will. जी, और यही सूरत हाल आपके सामने थी with explanation, the explanation to Rule 94. आपने उसको देखा, आपने 184.3 read with 187 का इतलाक किया, उसको आपने ultra vires declare किया, and that is all there is to it. We made arguments with respect to that. We reminded the court of the petition before the High Court, the order of the Election Commission. All of that was argued at length, and therefore the explanation was struck down. Now, one or two other points, my lords. मैंने पैरास 117, 118 का जिक्र कर दिया, जहां आपने PTI और दीगर के बारे में बात की है. Then I will also very quickly mention para 50 at page 93, जहां आपने ये कहा कि this case is about the enforcement of Articles 17 and 19, the fundamental right to associate and the fundamental right of expression granted by the Constitution. So this case is not simply an appeal, it is a 184.3 matter. The fundamental rights granted by the Constitution to the people of Pakistan are at stake. So you say that very clearly in this judgment. Paragraph 50. इसी तरह in paragraph 97 at page 100, Article 187 is invoked. Paragraph 115 at page 61, Dosani Travels is relied upon. So this is what your lordships have done by way of the jurisdictional framework available and the powers to be exercised for the enforcement of fundamental rights. Now I come to Khurshid Bhander. Kindly see, this is PLD 2010 Supreme Court 483.
Supreme Court?
Ji, 2010 Supreme Court 483.
What is the ratio of dissent?
Sir, this case arose after the Sindh High Court Bar Association judgment, which we just looked at, PLD 2009 Supreme Court 879, short order, PLD 2009 Supreme Court 789 is the short order, 879 is the detailed judgment. Now what had happened, as my lords just noticed when I read the short order in particular, that a very large number of persons, I would say, if I may, appointed judges of the various high courts, including the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, Justice Dogar Saab, and other judges, they were removed from office, including judges who were judges even before the 3rd of November 2007, but had subsequently taken oath under the PCO. So they were also removed. So judges appointed after the 3rd of November 2007 were removed, but judges correctly appointed before the 3rd of November 2007, but who had taken oath under the PCO, were also removed. Chief Justice Dogar Saab was declared never to have been Chief Justice, his appointment
De facto and de jure.
जी
De facto and de jure.
जी, उन्होंने कहा ये सब जो है all of this is not de jure. De facto effect उसका अपनी जगह, उन्होंने judgments को save कर लिया, सिर्फ उनकी उन्होंने कहा the judgments under the doctrine of past and closed transactions या holding the color of office, उनको हम protect कर लेते हैं to prevent chaos, but otherwise all of them.
मलिक असद केस
जी
मलिक असद
जी मलिक असद में भी ये हुआ, बल्कि महरम अली में भी उन्होंने जजमेंट्स को प्रोटेक्ट किया. एंड महरम अली का सोचनाक पहलू ये था कि some had been hung by the time the महरम अली case came and said that the law was void ab initio, but be that as it may. So they set aside the appointments of a very large number of individuals as judges, including those who had originally been validly appointed, but who had subsequent to the 3rd of November 2007, taken oath under the PCO. And at the same time, they declared that a large number of judges who had been, quote unquote, purportedly removed after the 3rd of November 2007 stood restored. And the finding was given that Iftikhar Muhammad Chaudhry Sahab had always remained the de jure Chief Justice of Pakistan. So all of this was done by the Sindh High Court bar judgment, और मैंने short order जो पढ़ा था उसमें ये सब हो गया. And then the detailed judgment came, which provided timelines for validation of the ordinances and so on. Now, this was challenged, in effect, in Khurshid Bhinder's case on two primary grounds. One was, now, Khurshid Bhinder Sahab was one of the judges removed because of the judgment in the Sindh High Court Bar Association case.
in review jurisdiction.
Ji. Review jurisdiction. So, if we turn to 2010 Supreme Court, kindly see page 483 in the review jurisdiction. Two primary grounds were urged. The first was this, that we were not given notice, we were never heard. I was a judge exercising functions as a judge, and I was removed without notice, number one. No proceedings in the nature of quo warranto were initiated. No proceedings under Article 209 of the Constitution were initiated against me or any of the other judges who had been removed, and therefore this order could not have deprived me of my position as a judge. And at the same time, the court considered that so many other people had been granted relief, quote unquote, who were not before the court, but who had been removed as judges after the
You can say to some extent injustice was caused without hearing them.
So this was the argument made.
But in present impugned judgment, what injustice was caused with the Noon League and people.
No injustice, sir. बल्कि ये तो मौजूद हैं. In fact, यहाँ तो ये कहा जा रहा है कि पीटीआई के लोग मौजूद नहीं थे. So हम तो नहीं कह रहे कि हमें सुना क्यों नहीं गया और हमें क्यों सीटें दे दी गई हैं हमें सुने बगैर. यहाँ पे
इससे भी सब मौजूद नहीं है.
ठीक हो गया. उन्होंने कहा कोई जरूरत नहीं थी मौजूद होने की. इन सारे जजेस के मौजूद होने की जरूरत नहीं थी जिनको हम हटा रहे हैं और जिनको हम बहाल कर रहे हैं. हम कह रहे हैं कि they will be deemed never to have been removed. उनके भी मौजूद होने की कोई जरूरत नहीं थी. और क्यों? That reasoning, I submit, applies on all fours to the present situation. Kindly see. I go to page 538 of the report. I read para 40 at page 538, kindly see. It is also an admitted legal position that reversing an action taken initially without issuing a show cause notice was not a principle of universal application. Undoing of such an act was also refused where the facts leading to the impugned action were uncontrovertible and admitted, and where despite a prior hearing the results could and would not have been any different, reliances placed on so and so. Then I go to para 41, this is important. No stricture was passed qua their eligibility, integrity, entitlement, qualifications, and besides that, the removal from the office of judges does not amount to be a stigma, and therefore the doctrine of audi alterum partem argued with vehemence cannot be pressed into service, which otherwise is not universally recognized due to certain limitations. So they're saying, look, we are not saying that these people were not eligible to be judges. We are simply saying the 3rd of November event was non-eth, was unconstitutional, could not have created any legal consequences. Aapki zaat se to koi hame issue nahi hai. You have assumed office because of this illegality. So once we remove this illegality, we are not causing any stigma against your individual names. We are not saying you were not entitled to be judges or you were not qualified. So this is the key finding in this case. I move on to paragraph 43 very quickly. I won't spend much time there. At page 541. Now let us discuss the concept of natural justice, which has been addressed repeatedly by almost all the learned counsel on behalf of the applicants. In India, the concept of natural justice was discussed in the case of Swadeshi Cotton Mills versus Union, AR 81, Supreme Court 818. I leave that, then I go on. The next few paragraphs continue with this concept and why it does not apply where there is no stricture passed against a person. But I come to 46 at page 544, para 46. As mentioned above, all appointments made in the superior judiciary have been declared to be unconstitutional, void ab initio, and of no legal effect, and such appointees shall cease to hold office forthwith. In such view of the matter, as rightly pointed out by Mr. Rashid Rizvi, learned senior advocate Supreme Court, that any superstructure subsequently built on the basis of such void orders passed under the garb of PCO did not possess any legal sanctity, and besides that, it is well settled by now that constitutional jurisdiction cannot be invoked in aid of injustice. It is noteworthy that the courts have refused to intervene, and the judicial consensus is that where the grant of relief would amount to retention of ill-gotten gains or would lead to injustice or aiding the injustice as such, the question of the applicability of natural justice does not arise, and in support thereof, various cases can be cited, which are as under. I leave that then. Para 47, I'll briefly pause over. It is well settled by now that the object of the establishment and the continued existence of the courts of law is to dispense and foster justice and to right the wrongs. This purpose can never be completely achieved unless the injustice done was undone and unless the courts stepped in and refused to perpetuate what was patently unjust, unfair, and unlawful. Then I go to para 50.
It was the concept illegality multiplied by legality is equal to illegality.
Quite so,
So
quite.
that's the logic.
And that is the situation here. We are submitting that what the 8-member judgment and the 2-member judgment has done is it has tried to promote justice. What the review petitioners are seeking is not promoting justice, not promoting democratic justice, which is the foundation on which our constitution is built. We read the objectives resolution. It is representativeness, it is political justice. The concept of political justice features in the objectives resolution. So is this going to be political justice where we have won in KP 83% of the general seats to be given 0 seats, reserved seats? So what your lordships have done, both the 8-member judgment and the 2-member judgment, is to promote justice. And it is unexceptionable, therefore. What the review petitioners are seeking is a complete reversal of what this court has done lawfully. सर एक यहाँ पे शेर आता है, if I may not, sir. खलीजे इक़्तिदार सरकशों से पाट दी गई, जो हाथ आई
फिर से
सर खलीजे इक़्तिदार सरकशों से पाट दी गई, जो हाथ आई दौलते गनीम बांट दी गई, मसाहिबीन शाह मुतमईन हैं. This is इफ्तिखार आरिफ, आखिरी आदमी का रिज्स. But I was reading this a few days ago and I just realized how close it is to what has happened here. खलीजे इक़्तिदार सरकशों से पाट दी गई, उठाओ जो हाथ आई दौलते गनीम बांट दी गई.
You are before the constitutional court.
Sir, I am. I move on, sir. I move on. I move to para 51, my lord. I move to.
Similar position was in 2018.
Laws और सारी
Sir, law ही मैं जनाब के सामने अर्ज कर रहा हूँ. Para 51 then, sir. Very quickly. यही कह उसमें उन्होंने कहा कि इसमें कोई injustice नहीं है in telling people who were appointed under the PCO or who took oath under the PCO that they may not carry on as judges. Then para 54, kindly see, they say that our judgment is a judgment in rem, bada important मामला है. And when a judgment is passed in rem, then it will impact people who were not directly before the court. That is clear. So once a judgment in rem is given declaring something to be non-et, void ab initio, its consequences will ensue, and nobody can say that they were not heard because this was not a judgment in personam. That's paragraph 55, I underline that. And paragraph 55 then is one of those paragraphs that we see in Asma Jahangir's case, we see that in the Sindh High Court bar, and we see that now again in Khurshid Bhinder's case, and I will read this if I may. In fact, the judgment impugned has been considered in the country as well as on global level as a triumph of democratic principles and a stinging negation of the dictatorship. It is the first instance of the Supreme Court stating in a categoric, loud and abundantly clear manner that military interventions are illegal and will hardly find any colluder in future within the judiciary. The impugned judgment provides much needed redress, as it will render considerable help in blocking the way of adventurers and dictators to creep in easily by taking supra-constitutional steps endorsed, supported and upheld under the garb of the principle of necessity in the past, which will never happen again. Had our superior judiciary followed the path of non-PCO judges, the course of Pakistan's political and judicial history would have been different. The verdict has been appreciated by all segments of society for being issue-oriented rather than individual-specific, and therefore no individual, including the petitioners, should be aggrieved. The judgment impugned would encourage future justices to take the firm stand against usurpers. The judgment impugned, being in the supreme national interest, hardly needs any justification for review. The review applications, being not maintainable, are accordingly dismissed. These are the reasons for our short order dated 13/10/2009. And there's one other issue. They have not argued that before this court, that some legislation was passed subsequently whereby the Election Act has been amended. Now, the effect of that legislation has not been argued before this court, and therefore we have not addressed arguments on that. So I will leave that where it is, and I will submit there can be no legislation that takes away the will of the people expressed in a particular election. वरना तो एक पार्लियामेंट आए और वो जी पिछला इलेक्शन जिसमें हम इलेक्ट होकर आए थे इस पार्लियामेंट में, अब हम लॉ बनाती हैं और उस इलेक्शन को हम चेंज कर देंगे उसकी consequences को. You can't do that. This would be the quintessential case of a past and closed transaction. No parliament.
This amendment has been challenged separately or not by any person?
Followed because इसको हमने किया था challenge, but then came the explanation, the explanatory notes of this court saying that this amendment has no effect as regards the election of February 2024 and as regards our judgment. So your lordships.
No, that explanatory note explains only that it will have the prospective effect and not retrospective effect.
Yes, sir. Fine.
But you agree to the prospective effect?
No, sir. No, sir. हमारा तो issue अभी
I'm asking if you're not satisfied with the amendment made subsequently, whether this has been challenged,
Sir,
the varies of that law.
Sir, it was challenged, but then we considered that it should not impact these proceedings. We did not want those proceedings.
It may not have any impact on these.
Fine, sir.
What about
sir, we have
the
every
challenge to that
intention.
varies?
Sir, we have every intention, because it is not taking any effect at the moment. The intent of that amendment was only to impact this judgment and the February 2024 election, but that has been negated by this court. This court has said no.
It has not been challenged.
It will not. We did challenge it, but then we withdrew those petitions with permission.
Where you had challenged
So we
that?
came under 184(3). I came, Abid Zubairi Saab came, we came. But then, because we thought these proceedings would ensue, and we did not want that issue to get tagged with this issue, especially since this court had said that amendment.
You have withdrawn
has
that petition subsequently.
So we will challenge. That is an atrocious amendment of what has been done, and we will certainly challenge it as members of society at large, not necessarily as a political party, but also as a political party.
वो तो किसी टाइम भी आप
जी वो हम कर सकते हैं और हमने परमिशन लेके वो विड्रॉ की थी expressly कि we will at an appropriate stage do that. So that is there. So my submission is I have not addressed arguments on those amendments and the effect of those amendments, because that is not an issue argued before this court. Whenever it is argued, we will address arguments on that. Sir, दो notes और मेरे पास हैं, if I could just very quickly place these. One is on the scope of orders that may be passed under Article 199. Isme I've listed the judgment of the Balochistan High Court and others authored by my Lord Justice Hashim Kakar Sahab. I'd mentioned it earlier. Acha, ye ho gaya submit, to theek hai. So, my Lord, this is the position now before this court, that a well-considered judgment has been delivered by this court. All the points of view which we have heard coming from the bench, procedural in terms of what facts were before the court, could 184.3 have been invoked, what is the scope of 187, 175.2 read with 187, all of these judgments that I've referred to, both in court and in my notes, have taken all of this into account. The crux is that under Article 187, your lordships continue to, despite the reference to 175.2 in 1976, exercise both plenary and inherent jurisdiction. Repeated judgments have said so, including Pir Sabir Shah. But in addition to the phrase plenary and inherent in order to do justice, there is the express reference now to Article 184.3, since at least Pir Sabir Shah's judgment, as endorsed by Dosani Travels and subsequently by this court in the judgment of which review is being sought. So there was nothing stopping this court from doing complete justice in this matter. Once the court came to the conclusion that the conduct of the February 2024 election was not quite as it should have been. The explanation and the other actions are before your lordships. And this court then was under an obligation to pass a judgment that would restore democratic justice to the country, that would restore democratic propriety to the election that had been marred by the explanation to Rule 94 and all the other actions noted in paragraph 96 of the judgment. And your lordships have done that. The 8-member bench judgment is a judgment of the Supreme Court of Pakistan. And I'm reminded of Justice Durab Patel in a case that I'd rather not mention, where he had disagreed in the first round with the final judgment. He wanted an acquittal, but when the review came, he says, I find no reason to review the judgment of the majority with which I had disagreed. Because the judgment of the majority is now the judgment of the Supreme Court of Pakistan, and it can only be reviewed if the strict grounds available for review are made out.
Which judgment you're relying on?
Sir, I'll rather not mention it, sir.
That's why don't mention it.
Sir, it is.
This judgment is no more in field.
So, my Lord, but the sentiment expressed was that of a jurist, not of a moralist. He said, my own judicial instinct was otherwise. I wanted to decide this case differently. But now that the matter has come to me in review, I am to uphold the judgment of the Supreme Court of Pakistan with which I disagreed. But I find no reason. The review was dismissed 7-0.
On what ground? So in his book he has mentioned the grounds.
No, sir. The grounds were the same, that an erroneous construction of the law and appreciation of the facts with which one judge might have...
Reasons are assigned in his book.
Sir, वो एक मुख्तलिफ मामला है. So the dinner that he mentions in his... that's Naseem Hasan Shah Sahab. He mentions that...
No, Durab Patel.
Okay, sir. I'll not go there, sir. But Naseem Hasan Shah Sahab...
the book of Mr. Durab Patel.
I will revisit that book, sir. I've looked at it. But Naseem Hasan Shah Sahab's memoirs are in my mind. But I don't want to go there. Sir, my submission simply is this. My submission simply is this, that in the exercise of the review jurisdiction, your lordships have to come to the conclusion that some injustice has occurred, and that injustice has occurred because of an error patent on the face of the record.
हमने देखिए हमारे सामने केस ये है जो बातें आप कर रहे हैं कि हमें पॉलिटिकल जस्टिस करनी चाहिए बकौल आपके 10 जजेस ने पॉलिटिकल जस्टिस कर लिए अब वो दूसरी सवाल कह रहे हैं कि इन 10 जजेस ने गलत किया आपने ये बताना कि गलत नहीं किया
सर यही तो मैंने अर्ज किया मैंने इसीलिए आपको 2013 से इलेक्शंस का एनालिसिस दिया मैंने आपके सामने पूरा वो माहौल रखा कि किस तरह ये इलेक्शन जो था
रिव्यू के ग्राउंड नहीं बनते जो ऑर्डर 37 में बताए गए वो ग्राउंड्स अवेलेबल नहीं है
ऑर्डर 47 में because doing that would mean that people or parties that have not been granted a certain percentage of the general seats, they will be granted far more. And therefore, what has been done in accordance with jurisdiction available to this court, after taking into account all relevant facts and questions of law. Everything is discussed, even the differing points of view are discussed in the judgment. So nothing has been overlooked. That's another ground. If we go back to the 3 judgments in my paper book, Abdul Ghaffar, Wajiul Hassan and Siddiqul Farooq in particular. Each one of them says that the review petitioners have to convince the court that something was overlooked. And had it not been overlooked, the judgment would have been different. And that by overlooking something, some factual or legal question, the court has arrived at an unjust conclusion. That is not the case here. That is not even their case. They are not arguing that something has been overlooked. They simply want this court to act as if it was
you have covered all
an appellate court. I'm very grateful, my lords, for this very patient, kind hearing, and I rest my case for the people of Pakistan. Very kind.
Khan Sahab, Hamid Khan Sahab. जी खान साहब, आप हैं सिविल रिव्यू पिटिशन 1264 में एज respondent
2024. I'm in that petition. In the first place, I just want to point out that I have applied for adjournment. I had already been granted general adjournment from 23rd of this month. So, if your lordship, then on that basis, I have made another application. A case can be adjourned after the general adjournment I had sought.
तो पहली बात यह है कि आप एसोसिएट रहे हैं, आप सीनियर हैं, अब आपको कुछ बताना मेरा ख्याल है ज़्यादा मुनासिब नहीं होगा। इस केस में ना एडजर्नमेंट ग्रांट हुई है जनरल, क्योंकि ये डे टू डे चल रहा है और आप एसोसिएट हैं डे फर्स्ट से, और अब सारी आर्गूमेंट्स हो चुकी हैं एक्सेप्ट योर्स, और यू आर द थर्ड काउंसिल फॉर द सेकंड साइड।
I leave it up to your lordship.
क्वेटा से
आप डिक्लाइन करना चाहते हैं, डिक्लाइन कर दें, फिर मैं बहस करता हूँ।
जी डिक्लाइन।
Lord, I am in civil review petition number 1264 of 2024.
जी
In civil appeal number 333 of 2024.
जी
I'll be giving the background facts first and the facts of the case.
वो काउंसिल दे चुके हैं
जी नहीं, बहुत